Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purna Mudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. In the previous class, I'm speaking about the components of human beings, about the three components, about three qualities, about three elements called three gunas. Three gunas are the three components exists in every human being, not only in human being, in non-living organisms also. Even in rocks, we are seeing the three gunas, the three qualities, the three components. The Rajasic rocks we are using as tails. For our daily use, we are making it for floor, room floor. Certain kind of rocks, we are using it for construction purpose. These are all Rajasic rocks. Certain rocks having special magnificent energy, magnetic energy. We are worshipping them as idols, installing them in temples and connecting to that rocks and receiving special energy from that. From this kind of rocks, we are getting many stones. We are calling them as Navaratnas. They are very auspicious for our health purpose too. Certain kind of stones and rocks are useless, purposeless. But there is a purpose for them also. In uselessness is their purpose. That is, we use them for some other purpose, but not getting useful for spiritual glory, and not we are using these kind of rocks for any activity also. Certain useless rocks, we are just throwing these stones on others, and violently they are getting used, and they are bothering us when we are walking. Certain kinds of stones and rocks having no use. They are tamasic rocks. Certain kind of rocks which are sattvic in nature, that we are worshipping as idols. Certain kind of rocks which we are using them in the daily routine, we can call them as Rajasic rocks. Everywhere there is sattva, rajas and tamas. Everywhere we can see these three components. Chitta is with these three components. Chitta includes intelligence, ego and mind. All these three is made up of three components. What are they? Sattva, rajas and tamas. So tamasic mind, tamasic mind, Rajasic mind and Sattvic mind. Like that we see. Same like Sattvic ego, Rajasic ego, Tamasic ego. Sattvic intelligence, Rajasic intelligence, Tamasic intelligence. We have to tell them in order. Intelligence, ego and mind. All the three together called as Chitta. Intellect in Sanskrit we call it as Mahat. In Sanskrit we call the word ego as Aham, Aham, Ahankar, like that. In the language Sanskrit we call the word mind as Manas. So, Mahat, Ahankar and Manas, all the three called as Chitta. All the three called as Chitta. This Chitta remains in the habitual states of this Chitta. I will explain. Chitta always remains in every individual in 5 habitual states. What are they? Mudha, Kshipta, Vikshipta, Ekagra, Niruddha. Ekagra is concentrated mind state. Concentrated state of mind. So, mind is habituated to stay in these 5 states. Five habitual states of mind I am mentioning 5. These are 5 in number. Our Chitta is always remaining in these 5 habitual states. Kshipta, Mudha, first is Mudha, second one is Kshipta, third is Vikshipta, fourth is Ekagra, fifth is Niruddha. Mudha means it is a dormant state, gross level energy, very gross level state of mind. Gross level of mind. It is dormant state of mind, and dullness is its quality. Dull state it is. It is a dull state of mind. It is like kind of inertia, a state where there is inertia, a state where there is lethargy, a state where there is dullness. The name of the dullness is called Mudha. Where there is a dormant, it is called dormant state. Kshipta is a state which is restless state of mind. The mind is restless, like a monkey on a tree. The mind is like a monkey, it is restless. So, Kshipta is restless. This Kshipta state of mind is restless. Vikshipta is better than this restlessness, but it is also a distracted mind. Distracted state of mind is called Vikshipta, and one pointed state of mind is called Ekagra. It is one pointed state or concentrated state of mind. You can write all these things here. Niruddha is enlightened state of mind. All the 3 components we are seeing in these 5 states of mind. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas we are seeing in these 3, all these 3 we are seeing in these 5 states of mind. There are 5 states of mind. In these 5 states of mind we are seeing these 3 components. How to divide these 3 components in these 5 states? Mudha means it is a state where there is lots of tamas. Where is active tamas? It is full of tamas, complete tamas. is Mudha. Kshipta is complete Rajas. It is a state of complete Rajas. Vikshipta is a state of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, all the three. This is an oscillating mind. Sometimes Sattva comes, and at the time we think that no, this is not my life. I have to do something good. I have to study. I have to improve myself. I have to concentrate. I have to meditate. All these things we think. At the time when the Rajas comes, we will be get distracted from that, and then we do for action, and we think about, oh, I need to earn money, and I need to work hard for life, and too much attachment rises at that time, and we think too much about our friends, relatives, ourselves, and we think too much about our career. We plan many things about future, and all these things and many tasks we keep in mind, and we want to do that. All the business in the mind is happening in the Rajasic state. Sometimes we think very unhappy, unpleasant, dull, and losing confidence, lacking confidence, going to depression, and all these states coming under tamas. We human beings always carry all the three states, but if we in a modha, in a very lethargic person, the sattva and rajas are even though they are there, they are very dormant, and this remains complete. In very rajasic person, we see this kshipta very restless. His mind is unable to understand the philosophy. His mind is unable to listen something if you say good or anything to listen. Just he goes with his restless mind. There is no time for him to sit just 5 minutes leisurely. They ask that where is the time to do all these things what you say. There is no time, they say. Vikshipta is that this is a state where a seeker starting his journey, realizing that tamas and rajas are harmful and painful, realizing that painlessness is sattva, balance, but unable to hold in balance, but trying and seeking for balance, is a state called vikshipta. And after realizing that balance and remaining and achieving a very well balanced state, attaining a very well balanced state, and mind becoming one point without a distraction, and just balanced, thinking on the balance, and just you are balanced. And when you are that is called ekagra. Ekagra means one pointedness. In that state, you will experience a samadhi because it is balance. In this balance, you will experience first state of samadhi, which is called samprajnata samadhi. It is 100% positivity. 100% positivity. Niruddha is a state where all the vrittis, that means here in ekagra state, the chitta is remaining with complete sattvic state. If it is 100% sattvic state, 100% sattva. If it is with 100% sattva, it is called ekagra. That means from 80%, after 80% it starts. So from 80%, after 80% to 100%, if you establish it, in this 100% comes. This is called samadhi. In the 100% only you will experience samadhi. Well balanced state is called sattva. If you go beyond that 100% positivity, that means all the vrittis, even sattva vritti also, you are withdrawing from that. You are going beyond sattva component. Then all the chitta vrittis, that is your right knowledge, wrong knowledge, imagination, sleep, and memory, all the behavioral patterns are getting controlled. A cessation is happening completely. Completely, you are going beyond memory. Completely, you are going beyond sleep. You are going beyond fancy, beyond right knowledge, wrong knowledge, and all, everything. All the vrittis, all the behavioral patterns are getting controlled in Niruddha completely. In the first level, in the Ekagra state, you can experience all the behavioral patterns working 100% positively. In the second state, beyond that. That cannot be explained, have to be experienced. So yoga is an experiential science, cannot be explained, have to be experienced. This is called in Vedanta Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Vikalpa means imagination. There is no imagination. And we are going beyond that. In yogic philosophy, we call it as Nirbija Samadhi. The seed of samsara is completely burned. As long as there is a tree, if you cut a tree, again the seed will grow. But if you burn the seed of that tree, it never grows. Here, ego is a very big tree growing. The tree of ego we need to cut. If you cut, there are again chances to grow. That is the reason cutting is not enough. Completely from the roots we have to take it out. And even though if you take from the roots, there are chances again, maybe if there is a seed, it grows. If you burn the seed itself, it never grows again. We have to burn the seed of samsara, the bondage. This materialistic bondage is making us painful. If you burn this materialistic bondage, then we connect to that above permanent happiness, spiritual wellness, and with that well-beingness. Then our perception will change. The world in which you are, the world, how we are experiencing now, that experience part will change with the spiritual experience. The perception will change. With the spiritual perceptive, we start seeing the world. This is what happens. This is called Niruddha state. This is called enlightened state of mind. Remains with complete sattva. Now, our target is first achieving 100% balance. We are beginners. We need first 100% balance. After attaining 100% balance, we will think about going beyond. First, what we need is 100% balance. And we need to experience everything as positive as. And we want to convert the suffering as bliss in the beginning. For this, Patanjali, the yogi, recommended for beginners a beautiful practice, Astanga Yoga. Astanga Yoga, called as eightfold discipline for beginners. Astanga Yoga. You are repeating this word now. Astanga Yoga. Astanga Yoga. Yes. By practicing Astanga Yoga, this Modha, Kshipta, Vikshipta, all these three states will be eliminated within. And we can connect to Ekagra. From this, we can go, the Astanga Yoga is giving us a special energy, positive energy, through which we can connect to the three limbs of yoga, that is Kriya Yoga. From this Kriya Yoga, we can also go beyond that Kriya Yoga, which is Ishvara Pranidhana. Kriya Yoga is for intermediate group and Ishvara Pranidhana is for advanced practitioners. 8 limbs are becoming 3, 3 limbs are becoming 1. Can I erase this one now? In the mind. The thought waves in the mind are painful to you, they are painless also to you. When they are positive, when they are in ekagra state, that means when right knowledge, wrong knowledge, imagination, sleep and memory, when they are in mudha state, they are painful. When they are in kshipta state, they are painful. When they are in vikshipta state also they are painful. But when these all 5 behaviors, when they are in ekagra state, then you are getting one pointedness of sleep, one pointedness of memory, one pointedness of imagination, and you are understanding what is wrong in this. And you are not one pointedness in wrong knowledge, you are understanding about what is wrong in this. The complete understanding of ignorance will be there in this false knowledge. That is about wrong knowledge and right knowledge. What is right and what is wrong? How do we know what is right and what is wrong? This right and wrong differs from place to place, person to person, and right and wrong is experiencing as. The traffic rules in one country is differ from another country. Here we follow traffic rule as a left side, and in other countries they follow as right side. So what is right and what is wrong? How do we say? In some countries the marriage system is different. In some other places the marriage system is different. So how can we say what is right and what is wrong? Who will define it? And this is a very big question. So to say what is right and what is wrong, here we have to follow 3 things. Pratyaksha anumana agamah pramanani. Pratyaksha, direct perception is one source to understand what is right and what is wrong. Directly by seeing certain things we can understand what is right and what is wrong. That is one. By seeing the shoes of mine outside, you can just detect me, yes, I am in the classroom. If you know that which shoes generally I wear, for example. And by seeing a smoke, we can detect that there is a fire. Yes, as there is a smoke, definitely we can detect that yes, there is a definitely fire. Because without fire, there won't be a smoke. As there is a smoke, that means there is a fire. This is we are detecting and connecting to that truth. This is called inference. This is called detection. By detection, by the inference, we will understand what is right and what is wrong. And the third thing is that testimony. Testimony is called agama. That means if a very enlightened person speaks something through which we will understand what is right and what is wrong. If not, we cannot understand. To understand what is right and what is wrong, we need to go through a very enlightened person or a book which was written by an enlightened person. Yoga is the text which was written by an enlightened masters. As it was written by enlightened masters, we are following it, what is saying, we are believing. As it is saying that Chitta Vritti Niruddha, Mooda, Kshipta, Vikshipta, why to listen all these things? Because it was not said by normal people, explained by the enlightened masters. And the text is written by the enlightened master. So, it is a valid proof, a valid authenticity, a valid proof coming by a valid person. A person who is remaining in silence for 18 years, after that when he opens his mouth and speaks about silence, and then that means it is having a value, his words having a value. If a person after practicing silence for 18 years, coming for you to speak about the value of silence means his speech on silence is having a very high value. Just a person coming and just talking about silence without practicing even a single day of silence, but just to make you happy and talking about the importance of silence, it never makes you, it is not a valid point. We cannot take him as valid source. Like that, a valid and authentic source is that those who are living and practicing the theory what they experienced and sharing that is a valid proof. Like that we can understand what is right and what is wrong. Like that is the way to understand right and wrong. It is a very deep way of understanding. Vikalpa. This is imagination. In Sanskrit we call it as vikalpa. It is that when we are practicing something, one will get some superpowers. Just attachment towards that powers will lead a person downfall. And that a very big ego will be generated inside, even for seekers. If they imbalance the powers what they are at, if they are not balancing the powers what they are getting, there are some powers, some superpowers are there, what the power of the mind only we are experiencing as superpowers. But when we are entangled with these powers, and we will get a downfall. It is just falling on the road is on the ground is okay, less damage we will get. But if we climb a big mountain, and if you are unaware there, if we fall down from that mountain edge, and it damages whole body. Like that, many seekers, they are really climbing very heights. They are normal people, but they are falling from that big mountain, and is a very huge damage to them and everyone also who are associated with them. They are feeling pain for that. That's what happening for many great masters. After doing some practices, they are getting some power of attracting others, and through which, through their speech and words, they are making money and started teaching and all these things. And then they started, gents, they are making followers. And this is what happening. In the beginning, they were very good. But after that, so no enlightened master himself declaring that I am a guru for you. It is that his presence and his energy making others believe that he is a master and guru, and they are following him. So he was not saying that you follow me, I am a teacher. No, it is not a way. But of course, to the devotee who believing him strongly, for him he is saying that, but with awareness. He is saying to them that he is guru, but with awareness. With awareness and with simplicity. So all the enlightened masters are very simple. The truth givers are very simple. Right and wrong to know, we have to always learn from the simple lifestyle people who are practicing a simple lifestyle. From them, we will understand these big things. Not from the people who are not living a simple lifestyle. From them, we cannot understand these things. No, not possible. All the enlightened masters lived a very simple life. They connected to that 5 elements. They connected to that nature, and just lived in that. And they are untouched. They are untouched. Even they are living in the crowd, they are untouched. Even they are living in cities. There are some very enlightened masters in cities also. But even then, they are untouched. Even though by riding in, even though, so this doesn't mean that enlightened master is somewhere else who is out of our what you call zone. No, it's not like that. There are many enlightened masters who are there living with us, but they are not exhibiting that themselves they are enlightened like that. No, they live a simple life. They live a simple life. But simple people, we generally we are not connecting to that simple people. We our mind is a complex phenomenon. We want the great yogis in very great ashrams and all these places. So we are searching them in marketplaces. We are searching spirituality in marketplace. We are searching yogis and monks also in marketplace. If you are searching them in marketplace, them no. But simple people, where they are in marketplace, or where they are in, maybe they may be in marketplace, but in marketplace again we are searching them in a market environment, but not like that. Even though they live in marketplace, but they are having their own way of lifestyle. They were very simple. Wherever they are, yogaratova, bhogaratova, sangharasova, sanghavihina, yasya brahmani ramate chittam nandati nandatyava. That is that whether he may be yogi or he may be a bhogi, sangharata, whether he may be in the crowd or may be separated from this crowd and living in his solitude in a jungle, whatever may be, if he is connecting to that soul consciousness and pure consciousness, and he is nandati nandatyava, he is getting enlightened. He will be always enlightened. So we don't know. There are many youngsters I have seen, and they were wearing jean pants, and they're keeping spats, and they're wearing all these things. But it doesn't mean that there is no spirituality inside. They are wearing all these things, but their mind is not connecting to this. Something they are searching for the truth. Such kind of truth seekers I have seen. So, but one thing is that maybe he may be wearing a modern clothes. It doesn't mean that traditional clothed people only spiritual. It's not like that. Uh, but the thing is, the thing what we have to understand is that a yogi may remain in this modern world. Modern and traditionality is not the matter, and there is simplicity inside. That simplicity makes him to search the inner truth, and they remain in that truth. It is there are many seekers I have seen, but generally in the name of in the enlightenment, what happens is simplicity is the natural quality of enlightenment. In that, generally they feel very simple clothings. They feel very natural life. In that, so when you search for naturality, and that naturality will fetches you, and it follows you, and it will become slave to you. The nature will become slave to the enlightened master. So when we are getting abundant energy from the nature, then naturally what happens is many enlightened masters are connecting to that nature. So that many enlightened masters, we are seeing them in the very peaceful nature, peaceful environment. Even though according to their prarabdha, according to their karma, some enlightened masters are in cities, are in very marketplace. But we should not mistake them as they are not enlightened. There are some exception, is not a rule. So there is an exception. So some enlightened masters are also there in the marketplace, but they are untouched like a lotus leaf in the water. So Nalini dalagada jalamati taralam tadvat jeepita matisaya chapalam. It was said by Adi Shankaracharya very nicely. The lotus leaf in the water is untouched to the water, but touched to the water. A lotus drop on the lotus leaf, if you see, it is untouched, even it is touched. Like that, enlightened masters may remain in the materialistic world, but they are untouched to the materialistic world. They are living in a very beautiful jungle. Even there, they are not getting attached to any other things. They are just connecting to that inner self. Wherever they are just connecting to that inner self. Is that we have to understand from enlightened masters' sayings, then only we will get an idea what is wrong and what is right. Imagination also, a very positive imagination we will experience in the beginning states of Samadhi, and after that we go beyond that. Sleep also, a very balanced sleep of 6 hours ideal sleep we will get, and after that yogi is experiencing just 3 to 4 hours of sleep, and remaining time in meditations, and as he is pleasant and he is just free from many thoughts, he is feeling fresh all the time, and that sleep is merging into that consciousness. Finally, what's happening is even the yogi remaining sleeplessly, but he's not like insomnia disturbing. Sleep is not disturbing him because he's acquiring 100% balance in the sleep and going beyond that sleep in the second stage. But in the beginning, we are bringing balance. Memory also, a very positive memory which makes you happy, to that connecting is that the beginning state. So all these 5 behaviors, first level we are making it painless. After that we are going beyond that. These behaviors are painful. When these behaviors are painful, it means rajas and tamas is there. As long as these behaviors are associated with rajas and tamas, they are painful. That means rajasic and tamasic chitta vrittis are painful. We have to go for sattvika vrittis. That is only the way. For that we have to practice Astanga Yoga. For this we have to practice Astanga Yoga. What happens when they are rajasic and tamas predominate? All these behaviors are becoming solid. When they are becoming solid, they are becoming afflictions. When they are becoming afflictions, we are calling them as kleshas. Kleshas like ignorance is getting boosted because of tamas and rajas. Ignorance will be boosted. And from this ignorance, what happens? Ego will be generated. And because of ego, what happens? Too much attachment comes, and also hatred comes. Hatred and attachment plays a very role because of ego. Ego is coming because of ignorance. Ignorance, ego, attachment, hatred, and also strong feeling to live in the world and too much worldly consciousness. World is real. This consciousness will develop. All these are the great afflictions for a seeker, and because of the too much predominance of tamas and rajas, one will be get afflicted with the 5 kleshas, 5-fold afflictions, and unable to come out from these kleshas. When we practice Astanga Yoga, all the 5 afflictions like ego, before that ignorance, ego, attachment, hatred, and also too much attachment. This is also a kind of attachment, a kind of feel to live, feeling worldly, a worldly attachment, separately explained as an attachment, even the attachment. All these afflictions will be eliminated when we practice Astanga Yoga. These are painful. These behavioral patterns are painful because of afflictions. So, by practicing Astanga Yoga, ignorance, in short, all these are coming from ignorance. So, this one ignorance, if you eliminate, we can connect to that light. That light, so we are lightening by studying 8 limbs of yoga called Astanga Yoga. Okay. Now we have to be very clear. Why you are practicing Astanga Yoga? Because to connect to sattva, to connect to that sattvika vrittis. Why you are studying Astanga Yoga? To eliminate tamas and rajas. Why we have to eliminate tamas and rajas? Because they are, when they are becoming solid, all the 5-fold afflictions are troubling us. So to eradicate the afflictions in the name of rajas and tamas, we are practicing 8 limbs of yoga. And to connect to that ekagra state, 100% positivity, we are studying 8 limbs of yoga. To attain samprajnata samadhi, we are practicing 8 limbs of yoga. To be happy, we are practicing Ashtanga Yoga. Even wherever we stay in the world, yoga is not that something making you separate from this world. We have to live in the world only. As long as we live, we have to live wherever. Even though you go to the forest, that is also in the world only. We have to stay there also. So we cannot separate it from the world. We have to live in the world. It is not something saying do something against the world. No. So yoga is a beautiful way of lifestyle. Wherever you are, you can remain balanced. How to remain balanced? Even in many millions of people, and even in solitude, isolation, how to be stable. And in all the situations, sukha dukkha samikrutva labha labha jaya jayo, in all miseries and in all kinds of happiness, how to be stable, how to be with one-pointed mindset, and all these things that yoga explaining to you. Astanga Yoga is a wonderful way of study, that what you are going to do now. With this spirit, with this mindset, get ready for studying Astanga Yoga. Sutra, he explained one beautiful sutra. Again, the students of Patanjali asked, we practice Astanga Yoga, very good. So, and very nice, thank you. And they said, so the students of Patanjali, they thanked Patanjali by granting such kind of beautiful wisdom. They were practicing. But Patanjali, he explained few more things of practice what it is. Astanga Yoga is a wonderful practice, but before going to do the practice, we need an idea what practice means. Without understanding what practice means, what practice we do? So he is giving an idea what practice is, and how can we achieve these 8 limbs of yoga? How can we attain perfection in 8 limbs of yoga? That what explained by beautifully defining in the 12th sutra in the first chapter. He is saying that abhyasa vairagyabhyam tan nirodha. All the behavioral patterns of the mind stuff will be eliminated when you do practice and when you acquire non-attachment. It means practice and non-attachment are the 2 ways through which you can do anything, and practice and non-attachment to which you can connect to the ultimate aim of 8 limbs of yoga. Practice and non-attachment.
So what is practice? Sat dirghakala nairantarya satkaro sevito druda bhumihi. Continuously doing any practice, continuously doing any task, any effort, what you are keeping continuously for a period of time without break, for attaining perfection, for attaining positivity, seeking positivity and making an effort and continuously making that effort for a period of time without break is called as practice. So, performing a task for a period of time without break, I am repeating many times because in spirituality there is no punaravritti dosha. Repeating the same name many times is called punaravritti. There is no punaravritti dosha in spiritual teachings. The same word we are repeating thrice, 4 times, 5 times because it is a way of teaching. So, it have to register in your subconscious. So, the same sentence repeating many times. Practice will be firm and will be grounded, and one pointedness will come when you attained stability, when you attained one pointedness by the continuous efforts what you are making on the preferred practice without break, on the efforts what you are putting on the task, that is called practice. What kind of practice we selected here? Astanga Yoga is going to be the practice for beginners, and this practice there are no weekends for Astanga Yoga practice. There Asta means 8 and Anga means limbs. There are 8 steps recommended in this practice. All the 8 steps we have to remember always, and we have to practice every day without a break for a period of time continuously. There are no weekends. Oh, this is today Saturday and Sunday. No, I don't want to do. And no, it's not like that. There are no weekends, dear friends. There are no weekends for yoga practice. Every day is a practice day. We cannot skip this. And non-attachment. Those who knows attachment and detachment in attachment is a great yogi. But what is attachment? What kind of attachment? See, the attachment towards the places, the attachment towards objects, the attachment towards persons, the attachment towards the matter, it brings bondage to our lives. That attachment we have to withdraw. How much you withdraw from these materialistic pursuits, that much energy you can experience within. That is called a spiritual attachment. We need attachment, but attachment towards spirituality is required. So, non-attachment means non-attachment not from spirit, non-attachment from matter. If you are non-attached towards the materialistic life, you will be attached towards the spiritual life. Spirituality is that the energy within. So, you can connect to that energy within, that consciousness. That means we need attachment towards pure consciousness. We need attachment towards the inner consciousness, and that consciousness connects us to that reality. Non-attachment towards matter, towards objects. As long as we believe the world as real, and it is not possible to practice Astanga Yoga. Understanding this world is unreal, understanding everything is unreal, understanding only the energy consciousness is real. With that consciousness, if you move forward, it is called Astanga Yoga. And one simple example I will give you, and I will finish it. There are lakes. There is a lake, for example, it is a lake. Okay. These are the waves in the lake, ripples, waves. As long as there are ripples in the lake, can we see the bottom? No, we cannot see the bottom. So, to see the bottom of the lake, what we have to do? We have to subside these ripples. Then the bottom can be seen. Same lake, Chitta is a lake. All the ripples, vrittis, all the 5 vrittis, right knowledge, wrong knowledge, imagination, memory, sleep, which I said to you, all these are like waves on the lake, ripples, Chitta vrittis. If you Niruddha, if you control the waves, then reality will be known. What it is? Bottom will be known. Bottom can be seen. What is this bottom? Our true nature, our real happiness, our real consciousness, which is pure consciousness. Okay. So, the water should also remain pure to see the bottom. That is the reason we need positivity. Positivity means clean water. And controlling all the behavioral patterns means that the highest realization which we can see the bottom. That explained by the Yogi Patanjali in the third sutra. Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. With awareness of continuous practice, with awareness of non-attachment, if you are there by continuous practice of Astanga Yoga without break and by acquiring the state of non-attachment, what happens? Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. All the Chitta Vrittis are getting Nirodha. That means controlled. Then the bottom will be seen. Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. That is the third sutra. What happens when we control the chitta? That means you realize yourself. Tada. Then after controlling this, drashtuhu, the seer who is controlling with practice and non-attachment, what happens for him? Avasthanam, realizing his own state, realizing his own happiness. So, get ready for this sutra chanting. Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. Tada means true nature. This is what again I am repeating. And second thing is that with awareness of non-attachment. Always we have to feel that I have to do it for spiritual pursuit. With this awareness, we have to practice 8 limbs of yoga. Now, what are 8 limbs of yoga? I will write it. This 8-folded discipline is called Astanga Yoga. Eight. What are the 8? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, Samadhayo, Astavangani. Like that, Yogi Patanjali explained these 8 are 8 limbs of yoga. You are repeating that sutra related to 8 limbs of yoga now. Repeat. Yoga philosophy written by Sadashiva Brahmendran. He has written Siva Yoga Pradipika. In that, he has clarified beautifully how to practice this. So, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama are coming as a Hatha Yoga. Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, all the 4 limbs are again connecting you to Raja Yoga, Royal Yoga. Okay. The first 4 limbs, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, you can also call them as Bahiranga Yoga. That means still our mind is towards external world. We are staying in an external world and trying to control our mind. And it is called as external yoga. The mind is outward and inward both in the first 4 limbs. But the mind starts inward journey from the last 3 limbs. That is Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Dharana means concentration. Dhyana means second level of concentration. Samadhi means third level of concentration. A very simple explanation of Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, or I am writing here again. Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi means all the 3 are called concentration. But concentration level 1 is dharana, concentration level 2 is dhyana, concentration level 3 is samadhi. Okay. It means it is an inward journey of the mind. As it is inward, in Sanskrit we call inward as antaranga. So, last 3 limbs, I mean 6, 7 and 8 are called Antaranga Yoga. It is having another name, Antaranga Yoga. And the first 4 limbs are having the name Bahiranga Yoga. Opposite to Antaranga is Bahiranga. So, I am writing here, Bahiranga Yoga, Antaranga Yoga. Antaranga Yoga. Bahiranga Yoga means first 4 limbs, Antaranga Yoga means last 3 limbs. Then what about the 5th limb? It is acting a bridge between Antaranga Yoga and Bahiranga Yoga. It is always with the Antaranga and it is also with the Bahiranga. Pratyahara is a very special limb, 5th limb. Now, you have to understand how to practice these limbs. Many explained them as a rungs of a ladder to climb, but we have to understand these limbs as these are the steps, but not the sequential steps one after other to follow. For example, it is if you understand that Yama is the first step to practice and Niyama is the second step and asana is the third step, like a step by step if you want to practice them and if you understand them as step by step practice, it is not the way to practice like that. The practice method is different here to understand. What is that is Yama, Niyama, Asana are the simultaneous steps to practice at once. Yama, Niyama, Asana are the first 3 steps which there is a spontaneity, which there is a simultaneous approach to practice. In these 8 steps, some steps are having sequence, one after other you have to follow. Some steps are spontaneous and simultaneous, which you have to practice at once. These are not the steps 8 one after other to follow, no. Then how to practice these 8 steps? That what you are going to understand now. By practicing first 4 steps, you are connecting to the holy essence of Hatha Yoga, because Hatha Yoga is balancing the sun and moon in the body. The main purpose of Hatha is balancing sun and moon. The main purpose of Hatha Yoga is connecting you to that royal yoga, Raja Yoga. If you read the Hatha Yoga literature, it will be written in the first verses only. The main purpose of Hatha Yoga is for what? Attaining the royal yoga, Raja Yoga. That what you can see here in learning 8 limbs of yoga. First 4 limbs if you practice, you are connecting to Hatha Yoga, and from the last 4 limbs you are connecting to that royal yoga path. In short, all yogas are one. Hatha Yoga becoming royal yoga at its final end. Okay. It both are one. Yoga is yoga. There is no confusion. But you need a physical training in the beginning. That is the reason in the name of asanas, a wonderful physical training and is happening. We need an attitudinal training in the beginning. That attitudinal training is happening in the name of Yama and Niyama. And also we need a wonderful mental control and sensory control. And for mental control and mental balance, we are undergoing pranayama. More than that mental control, we need emotional control. For that we are undergoing pratyahara. And after that we need to realize what is spirit, and in that realization we need to get establishment. For this we have to understand the importance of one-pointedness, meditation and samadhi. And a very speciality is that every one limb finally connecting you to that first level of samadhi. This samadhi is having 2 levels. The last samadhi I am writing here is 2 levels, I already said, level 1, level 2. This pratyahara, the 5th limb, we are seeing up to the first level of samadhi. This Pratyahara is a special limb. It is interlinked with all the limbs. The fifth limb in these 8 limbs having a special significance. Why we are practicing Yama? For Pratyahara. Why we are practicing Niyama? For Pratyahara. Why we are practicing asanas? For Pratyahara. Why practicing Pranayama? For Pratyahara. That means always you have to remember that we are practicing all the first 4 limbs and also all the last 3 limbs for Pratyahara. Pratyahara is such a special limb, is interlinked with Samadhi. We are not seeing Pratyahara in the second level of Samadhi. Until first level of Samadhi, we are seeing Pratyahara. Pratyahara, 100% perfection of Pratyahara means 100% attainment in Samadhi. So, it is interlinked, 5th limb is interlinked with Samadhi always. First level of Samadhi. 100% Pratyahara means 100% Samadhi. Now, what is the question? What is Pratyahara? What it means? Pratyahara means sensory control, withdrawal of senses. Senses will trap us very easily. How much we gain that power and how much we establish it in reality, there are always chances to be get trapped by the senses. Senses will trap us. It is that once senses will trap us. Once when I want to meditate 8 hours, I was meditating like that many days. For 40 days, it was like a practice for me. I was deciding to do a very intense practice for 40 days, 8 hours meditation every day. I was doing for 30 days, okay. But the 31st day, these are the senses. The mind asking me, yes, do go to a movie. Then I started going to a movie. After that, my mind asked me to go to watch a cartoon movie. I like cartoon movies very much. And then I went to that movie. And after watching that, and my mind said, there is many, in those days, I have no kind of iPads or in the home I cannot watch. So there are some special what you call internet browsers where they are where we can see for internet browsing we are going to certain what you call computer centers and I'm going there and I'm watching these cartoon movies and coming. After that, practice gone, and so senses will trap us like anything. So if we eat, I will tell you many things about Pratyahara. A day comes to me to talk a lot about Pratyahara. I will talk a lot on that Pratyahara. These are the senses. Senses will do many things. Senses will trap us. If your senses are in our control, that mind will be definitely in our control. If we are under the control of senses, then it is very difficult to connect and to control the mind. So senses are most important to control. If you control the senses, mind will be definitely in our control. So sensory control is most important for everyone. It is our mind. It says as to you that because tongue, it always needs taste. And so it asks you, then it gives sensation to the mind, and then because of the senses, your mind tells to you that eat a biscuit. Then we eat a biscuit one day, and next day it asks you to eat 2, and then we eat 2. The third day, the mind asks generally 3. Generally, we eat 3. It is not for you. It's a general thing. I'm saying. Maybe it is not for you. So I have seen some yoga practitioners. They are doing like this. So that example I'm giving to you, and after that they complete a whole biscuit packet. After that they feel that very appetite, oh, what's happened to my appetite, and they feel indigestion for that, and they go for a doctor. It is that the tongue is it deceives many things. So I have seen many, the craving for food, and I have seen many, they are just, the tongue is that doing a lot mischief things. It is that if tongue is in our control, many things in our control. As tongue is not in our control, why there are many gastric problems, why we are struggling with indigestion, why there are many problems with this, because of tongue is not in our control. The sense organ tongue is not in our control. That is the problem, indigestion. That is the problem, many problems with the digestion, because irregular diet, imbalanced diet, and whatever we need that we are not taking. That is the problem. If you balance that, everything will be balanced. So we need a wonderful sensory control. Eyes we need to control, nose we need to control, ears we need to control, tongue we need to control, skin we need to control. So they are moving their own. So a proper control of these senses makes your mind control. That is called Pratyahara.
Isn't that other way, like if you control your mind, then you can control your senses, because like yeah, you it with awareness and consciousness, yeah, it would not.
Nichalam Nichalam Bhavet. Directly mind is not getting controlled for many. If yeah, it can be controlled. If you are in that state, means you are coming under a middle level practitioner. Maybe Ashtanga is not required for you. Maybe you are enlightened. We don't know. If you are enlightened, you don't require this. Really. So this Ashtanga is for beginners. We are all coming under beginners. So we are talking about beginners. If you feel that you are more than this, so there are some yogis like that. Pranayamam, Pratyaharam, Nitya Viveka Vicharam, Japya Sameta Samadhi Vidhanam, Kurvavadhanam, Mahadavadhanam. So they are saying that Samadhi, Pranayama, all these things are not required, only Samadhi. They are remaining in Samadhi because already they control the mind. That is called Jnana Yoga. Really, what you are saying is very great. So Jnana means if you are Jnana Yogi, if you are wisdom, directly their mind is under their control. When their mind is directly in their control, senses naturally in their control. But as long as the mind is not in their control, we need to start from descending order. That is, the sensory control is first important. Senses. See, why mind is not in our control? Because it is said that 12 seconds controlling mind is a very challenging thing.
Mind is a very like broad definition.
See, let me explain first, because at the time of explanation, one second, thank you very much. It's my just suggestion. My teaching will be like a flow. At the time when I am teaching, you are just listening. At the last night, and master said, senses are deceiving always. So it is not an easy task to control the mind like that, we say, because many masters who are on the level of a great sage Vishwamitra, who felt that he was in such a state of highest consciousness, but he felt in the trap. Many yogis who attained such a great state, they were in the trap. It is not easy that we said that this mundane is in our control. Mind is, it's not like that. So 12 seconds controlling the mind is a challenging thing. Controlling 12 seconds is a very typical task. That is the reason 12 units of concentration is called dharana. 12 seconds control, as how our friend is saying, when you study the mind, the ancient masters is saying that 12 seconds controlling the mind, because in between 12 seconds many thought patterns are coming. When many thought patterns are coming between second to second, how can we say that we can control our mind? Not possible. So that we have to understand the senses who are giving impulses to the mind, and through which we have to work it on. That is the reason Pratyahara is considered as a sensory control, withdrawal of senses. And through these senses, we can work on yama, we can work on niyama, we can work on asana, and we can work on pranayama. So yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, we are practicing and making our sensory control. So when it is just said that when your senses are at least 50% are in control, then only we can experience we can go for an inward journey. We can go for an inward journey. That is dharana, dhyana and samadhi. In dharana, we can experience 60 to 70% of concentration. In dhyana, it was that 70 to 80% of concentration we will experience in dhyana. In 80 to 100% of concentration we will experience only in samadhi. So mind is a very typical thing, that what we are saying is not such an easy task to tackle the mind, to taming the mind. It is always associated with different behavioral patterns, because sleep is also considered as one of the behavioral patterns. Understanding the dreamful state and understanding the dreamless states of the mind also, that consciousness is also a very challenging task for a seeker, for an aspirant to understand what mind is. Even though how much we think that we achieved such great heights, but mind is such a faculty which always records many things. Even though you say that you are enlightened, but the past lives of your mind never leaves you, and many thought patterns from many lives also will come and will bother you. Then what to do? Then how to meditate, how to concentrate? This will be a challenging in front of the sadhaka. When you once starts practice, and many kind of distractions will come to the sadhaka, that will be known only when you practice. Without practicing, we cannot talk on mind. Only we have to talk on mind after doing a continuous practice and after doing some sensory withdrawal. With the state of mind, what we are now, so we experienced a phase, and by practicing certain kind of things, what this Astanga Yoga practitioner said, then only we will experience different kinds of thought patterns, what's coming in the mind we will experience with that, and then we will start analyzing. Without practice, how can we talk about senses and mind? So first, to do anything, first we need to practice. Without practice, we cannot put a question. So first 8 limbs of yoga we need to practice. After practicing, we will get many questions, and for that questions we need to solve through patience. For that questions we need the reference of Aptavakya Pramana, that is called Agama, that is called the enlightened master's saying, that is called testimony. So testimony is that enlightened masters are saying that it is not my word. That is the reason I said to you, to know everything we need to work on the enlightened master sayings. So the enlightened masters already said that mind is unable to control. If we need Pratyahara, as it is the enlightened master's sayings, I believe in it. So I practice like that. If you follow some other enlightened masters, and if you believe in yourself, in anyone in the classroom, so you can go according to your own way. But this is the yoga philosophy class. In this class, what enlightened master said, that these words I will explain, and this what I experienced. So what I experienced, what the enlightened master is speaking, that what I will tell to you. And to learn this kind of yoga philosophy, we need to be a seeker. With hyperactive mind, we cannot read this. So we need a balance. At least we have to try for balance. With that mindset only, this philosophy is possible to learn. I appreciate our friends' vision and philosophy, and I appreciate the thoughts also what you are giving. But tomorrow's class, I welcome you, whatever you want to say. And but I'm just saying to you what is the philosophy of yoga. Thank you very much for doing this. So I'm giving you a clarity how to practice this. So Pratyahara is the limb interlinked with all the limbs until the Samadhi. And Yama is a set of 5 rules. Niyama is a set of 5 rules. Total, they are 10 rules and regulations we have to follow. What are they? Yama is containing 5 rules like non-violence, truthfulness, non-stealing, non-lust, and non-greed. These are the great virtuous practices to follow. Saucha means cleanliness. Santosha means, which we call it as contentment. Tapas is called austerity. Swadhyaya is called self-study. And Ishvara Pranidhana, we consider it as self-surrendering to that consciousness. So these are the 10 rules and regulations what a yogi should follow in his day-to-day life for connecting to that higher concentration and for connecting to that Samadhi. Thank you very much for listening to me. Great. And thank you. So tomorrow we will discuss with Yama and Niyama how they are useful for us. Yama means a set of 5 rules which connect us to the social conduct. Niyama means they are again great personal observances. We call them as fixed rules which will be helpful for our controlling our mind. As our friend is saying that how can't we control our mind? Yes, for that reason only. So the yogi Patanjali is talking about mind control. So Yama and Niyama means mind control only. Beautifully our friend said. But in that mind control, senses and mind always we cannot separate them. They are playing a vital role. They are mixed. So because of senses, mind getting impulses. So how can we separate mind and senses? They are not two separate things. But so if you control the what you call thoughts easily, it is not possible. So that prana we are controlling. That is the reason we are working on our breath. We are controlling the nostrils. We are controlling the sense organ nose through the breath. We are controlling the tongue through many great meditative practices. We are doing asanas through which we are controlling the senses, and we are controlling the mind. Senses and minds both are interrelated and interdependent. We cannot separate them. But directly through the mind, if you want to control, many enlightened masters and advanced practitioners are only doing. Maybe if our friend is in such an advanced state, and our friend also not there here in the classroom, so if he feels that he is in advanced state, and so maybe they are for Kriya Yoga, that means 3 limbs are just necessary for them, not 8 steps not required for them. But I feel myself as a beginner, I need Astanga Yoga practice still, even though I'm a person of Kriya Yogi, and I experienced the first advanced state also as a trialer, but still I feel that I need some discipline. So I feel that I'm a beginner. Even after practicing 8 to 12 years of these practices continuously in this line, and for 20 years I born in a Vedic traditional family. So by birth I am practicing these 8 limbs of yoga, and continuously from the by birth I am practicing this, because I born in a vegetarian's family. from many generations our family is vegetarians, they are practicing. So in that family I born, and a very well disciplined yogic family I got an opportunity to born. And by taking birth there, I am saying to you, mind controlling is not such an easy task, my dear friends. It's my personal experience, and yeah. Thank you very much for listening to me. Om. Shanti, shanti, shanti.